Let's talk about the axis of alternatives. This is a group of countries that are often pushed to the periphery by the self-designated leader, the United States. It often uses wars, sanctions, and bullying. But over the years, there have been so many countries piling on the sidelines, they now have their own axis of trade. And one such country is Afghanistan. It is in talks with two powerful countries to ditch the dollar and trade in local currency. Why are countries rushing to woo the Taliban? Do the West's sanctions hold no meaning now? And is the anti-dollar trade already in place? I'm Ananya Datta and you're watching Grey Zone. The United States left Afghanistan in 2021. It will be 4 years this August. As chaotic as the process was, it ended 20 years of American invasion in the country. Washington handed back the power to the same terror group it was fighting. Close to 4 years on, not a single country recognizes the Taliban as the Afghan government. But that just seems to be a technical side note. Because while the West has frozen its assets, restricted travel, and imposed an arms embargo, none of this is stopping other countries from wooing the Taliban. Remember the axis of alternatives we spoke about earlier? Afghanistan seems to be at the center of it, at least for now. Its foreign minister, Amir Khan Muttaqi, has had an unusually busy calendar. He hosted his Pakistani counterpart, rung India's foreign minister, jetted to Iran and China, and the Afghan delegation is in talks with Russian counterparts. Diplomacy kicked into high gear the moment US boots left Afghan soil. China wasted no time. Foreign Minister Wang Yi was the first top diplomat to land in Kabul. Beijing knew Afghanistan's future was up for grabs. And if a new course was inevitable, why not steer it in China's favor? The same year, Russia acknowledged the Taliban indirectly, where it approved the new Kabul government's stance against terrorism. So at a time when the US was trying to choke Afghanistan more, China and Russia found their perfect fertile ground. And as we speak, the Afghan administration is in talks with Russia to allow banks from both countries to carry out direct trade transactions worth hundreds of millions of dollars in local currencies. Two countries, sanctioned by the West, currently conduct around $300 million in trade annually. And with the new local currencies pitch, it could raise many folds.
There are many Russian banks. Around 50% of them are under sanctions. Some Russian banks are not sanctioned by the international community. We want to continue working with the banks that are not under international sanctions to reduce costs.
A similar proposal has been made to China. This comes on top of projections that trade between China and Afghanistan will surpass $1.5 billion this year. Beijing is already posing its Belt and Road Initiative as an economic opportunity for Kabul.
Just as we seek to establish financial ties with Russia through local or regional currencies or markets, we also aim to develop similar relations with China. We have put forward proposals in this regard, and preliminary discussions have already taken place. We are looking to move forward with China in this area as well.
Afghanistan, a country the West has tried so hard to make a pariah state, is becoming the diplomacy hub. So what does this tell us about the world order? Two things. One, that the world does not revolve around the US anymore. It cannot hide behind its sanctions and bully other countries into what's best for Washington. And second, trade is God. Washington can sanction individuals, companies, and central banks, but it cannot sanction ideas, like a barter system. China needs energy and Afghanistan needs machinery. One element that's making all of this possible is local currency. It's only recently that the world realized that de-dollarisation is key. After Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the US imposed very strict sanctions against Russia, making it the most sanctioned country in the world. That's when it struck other leaders that Washington can block its funds in the event of any diplomatic or military dispute at a scale that it can hurt your economy. Most countries weren't okay with this level of dependence. Today, we have Afghanistan exploring the use of local currencies in trade with both Russia and China. Iran already sells oil to China in yuan. Russia trades with India in rupees. Russia and Turkey want to use ruble and lira in cross-border trade. Brazil is speaking to China to find an alternative to the dollar. Iraq, Saudi Arabia and the UAE are looking at alternatives too. India and Bangladesh have agreed to settle a portion of their bilateral trade in rupee and taka. The BRICS Plus nations have been one of the most vocal groupings speaking against de-dollarisation, and following which ASEAN finance ministers are also discussing to shift to local currencies. The list is long. Afghanistan's want to do trade might seem like a fringe development on the surface, but it's not. It's a symbol of much larger transformation, one where the penalty of being sanctioned is no longer isolation, it's an invitation to form a new axis. Trump feels trade can solve everything, but he still wants a solution on his own terms. And by the time he comes to realize and accept the new world order, countries like Russia, China, India, Afghanistan and Brazil might be far away from its ambit. But don't mistake this as a collapse of the old system. It's a new one building alongside. One trade deal, one local currency, and one diplomatic handshake at a time. I'm Ananya Datta. Thanks for watching Grey Zone.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले.
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.